What's it mean to have daddy issues? Well, let's explore this on today's Ask a Shrink. So I'm going to make a short specific video just about daddy issues, which would tie in more to the daughter. Now at some point I want to do a father issue, which will be more broad and impact a son or a daughter in various ways. But if we just look at what's called daddy issues, what impacts a daughter growing up? When she starts dating, she's ready to get married. How is she going to work through daddy issues? What are daddy issues? So basically, daddy issues relate to a woman who has trouble relating to a man in a healthy way. And it's all based on the parenting from her own father. If a daughter growing up has a father who's very emotionally distant or abusive, or physically absent, then that's going to create or form how a woman views relationships with a man. It's what was role modeled for her. So there's many I can mention, and I'll just name them off real quick. It's within a dating relationship, I'll dump you before you can dump me. The daughter may have a hard time making a commitment to a relationship. Perhaps being overly flirtatious, always trying to get the attention of another man, and that's basically because she couldn't get attention from her own father. This could be for many reasons, including the dad being a narcissist, for one thing. Perhaps very suspicious, always kind of on the lookout, because they weren't parented in a healthy way by their own father. And again, it depends on what was role modeled for them in the home. Perhaps the father gave the daughter way too much attention or very little attention. These things all create what we call daddy issues. But the main one I want to zoom in today on and talk a little bit about is a woman expecting a man to somehow take care of her, make her feel good, create her happiness. The boyfriend or the husband is going to make everything be okay. I don't have to worry about doing too much on my own or taking care of things, or maybe even worried about what's in the bank because my husband's going to provide. My boyfriend's going to figure it all out. That's when a woman really can lose her identity, because they're just basically capitulating their entire identity to what this man, this supposed knight in shining armor, is just going to make everything be lovely. Well, it doesn't work that way in life, and a lot of women struggle with that later on, and therefore we may have a high divorce rate because of this expectation. It's all about the expectation that ties in to the lack of healthy parenting from their own father. So we're not blaming the woman, it's just we're seeing the symptoms as she gets older now and she's out dating or getting ready to settle down. And that could be because the father did overdo it during childhood, made her be the little princess, did not help her grow up in that way. He did everything for her, and now she doesn't know how to fend for herself, that she can indeed take care of herself. She doesn't get that. Or a father who ignored her, kept her at distance. This could be for various reasons. Perhaps he has his own mental health issues. Perhaps he's taking it out on his wife somehow. Perhaps he doesn't really know how to connect with women. He doesn't know how to work with this daughter of his. It threatens him on some level, makes him uncomfortable. And especially when a daughter hits puberty and she starts to develop. If the father doesn't know what he's all about and comfortable with his own sense of masculinity, then he won't know what to do when his daughter starts to have breasts. And all of a sudden he goes from being a loving father, let's say birth to age 11 or 12, and then backs way off because what do I do with a daughter who's all curvy and feminine now? So a lot of fathers are threatened by that. So if the daughter is the recipient of any of these things I just mentioned, that's going to impact her dating relationship as she gets older, and it's known as what we call daddy issues. This rarely ever ends well if a woman marries into a relationship like this and has these expectations, because usually at some point as somebody hits their 40s and 50s or 60s and so on, they want to have a sense of self. The very thing that attracted them to the man that they were dating in the first place, that they are now married to, the fact that he is perhaps a type A personality type, he can take control of things, he handles everything, he's the daddy. Those very qualities that she was attracted to at the beginning, now, years later, she's so sick of it. Gosh, if I could just find myself, let me do things from time to time. Let me find my own way. Stop giving me all this advice. And I prefer my own checking account, thank you very much. I can handle my own financial issues. So this is what commonly happens as decades go by with relationships that are set up in this way. There can be great resentment on the part of the woman and the husband thinking like, what did I do wrong? I'm doing the same thing for her I did back when I was 22. Now I'm 52 and she doesn't seem to like it. So we can see how this gets very complicated as the years go on. And it all starts because of the daddy issues of how she was raised. So for women out there getting ready to date, if you are aware of that expectation you have, in fact, what expectations do you have about a man you may be dating? If they lean towards the man taking care of you, ask yourself, what's that about? You need to probe into it. Is it simply you just want a kind man who's attentive? Or does it cross over into hoping this guy is going to raise me, take care of me, support me in every way possible? I don't really have to grow up too much at all. Then those are big red flags. And for gentlemen out there, if you're dating a woman, if you're hoping to have a woman who's not going to have much of a voice at all, not share her own opinion, not be an equal or a peer in the marriage, that likely is going to lead to problems later on. And maybe fun, fast and furious and sexy at the beginning, the first 5-10 years or something, but little by little as people grow, and hopefully they will, people are often not wanting to be pegged anymore in some specific role like this. The husband may just want somebody later on that he can just rely on. What's wrong with that? The wife, as I mentioned earlier, may be tired of feeling like she's missing out on life because she's living her life vicariously through her husband's eyes. She may start to resent that, and hopefully she will start to resent that later on. That's a healthy part of her burgeoning and growing at that place. She's beginning to blossom. That'll upset the dynamics in the marriage, and that's where couples have to really work hard on saving the marriage if things are off kilter in this way. By the way, all these examples apply to same-sex couples. This is across the board for all of us as human beings. If you're looking for somebody to just jump in there and save the day, make everything be okay, then those are big red flags you need to notice and ask yourself, what's that about? So if you have any comments you'd like to add below, please do so. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shrink.